Hello, my name is Burke of Sharp Stuff Sharpening Service, and I'm going to be going over basic knife grips. The pinch grip is achieved by grasping the blade itself with the thumb and forefinger and wrapping your other three fingers around the handle. Your spine of the knife will rest on the forefinger on the side a little bit. This is arguably the best and most important grip, hence why it is used by professional cooks, because it is the most ergonomic and provides the best fatigue resistance. This grip is also really good for many different types of cutting, whether you're working with the tip, or if you're going to be push cutting, or classic rocking. The pinch grip is really good for all of them. The other advantage of the pinch grip is that it doesn't really matter if you have a lot of height to the blade. Your knuckles are pretty lateral with the board, so you don't have to worry much about board clearance. It's really kept to a minimum, allowing you to use a lot more different styles of knives using the same comfortable grip. The next grip is the hammer grip, which is exactly like how it sounds. You just grab the knife with a fist like a hammer. Sometimes people will move their thumb up onto the handle of the knife and use it to make like a kind of modified pinch, but you're pinching the handle and not really the blade. Use it to rock on the board. A big disadvantage to this grip is it requires a lot of knuckle clearance. If you don't have a fairly tall blade, it's kind of hard to get your fingers in between the handle and the board. So you have to move around, and it's just not a really comfortable way to use a knife regularly. This grip gets especially awkward on Japanese wah-handled knives such as this one, because the handle is so light and the balance point is so far forward. The whole weight of the knife is actually outside your hand and putting a lot of stress on your thumb muscle and your forearm. The hammer grip does have its uses, such as when you're cutting really obstinate foods like melon rinds. You can use it to just squeeze the knife to make sure that it's not going to wobble anywhere, and you can just push the knife down through the different foods. You know exactly where it's going to go. You don't really need a lot of forward-backward control as long as you're just pushing straight down. Another very common grip is called the finger point, which is when you grab the handle with your fingers, or three fingers around it and your thumb on the bolster, and you point your index finger onto the spine, like so. This gives you the best tip control and is often used to do fine tip work if you're going to be drawing the knife across the board. The finger point grip is really useful for traditional Japanese single bevel knives, especially yanagiba or other slicing knives. Even Western slicing knives can benefit from this grip. Something important to remember when using this grip is not to squeeze the knife. There's really not a whole lot of control being given as far as forward and backward, so this is really more of a grace-based knife grip. You can use it to slice proteins such as this chicken or fish, and you can just get crazy thin slices. I mean, these aren't even staying together. And aside from being able to just cut very small things, it's just a lot easier to cut through things with a slicing motion in one direction. And using this grip really helps you get the most out of the portion of the blade that is not in your hand. Another very distinct but less celebrated grip is what I call the Chinese grip. This really only works on Chinese chef's knives, the Chinese cleavers, because it requires a very tall and narrow blade. This grip is achieved much like the finger point by wrapping your three fingers around the handle and putting your thumb above the bolster, actually on the blade, and pinching it between your forefinger's knuckle, and you just extend your forefinger all the way down. If you're going to be using Chinese cleavers, you really should get comfortable with this grip. I know it may seem strange at first to put your finger so far down on the blade, but you know, you're really not going to cut yourself if you can't even reach the edge. I love to use this grip when I'm at work because it's very comfortable to use for long periods of time. The knife actually doesn't have any pressure on the spine on your hand anywhere. You're just using so much surface area to hold the knife that you can just slide it through the food without putting any lateral pressure on your hand. All of these grips are useful in different situations, and it really behooves you just to get a basic grasp on all of these different concepts, no pun intended.